I should unmute. So, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Circle of Harmony. Last time we had, taken up some, I don't know what to call, snapshots or learnings from the book, The Mole, the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, the Horse by Charlie. Where is my book? I don't know. And yes, last time it felt a bit rushed and it felt a bit incomplete. And there's just so much joy and life and simplicity in that book that I felt that there's more that we can touch. So today, maybe we'll do a short session on that and take that forward. So, excuse me, Nandini, you weren't there last time, were you? Yeah. So, are you familiar with the book?
Yeah, I have seen the snapshots. It's such a famous book, but it's such a pity that I have not read it myself.
Yeah.
So I thought it's a good opportunity to know about it and maybe pick up and read because it's really beautiful and very simple. Yeah.
The simplicity hits you, like it's like, oh my god, like is it that simple? Like, am I making it complicated? Yeah. Yes, Jagan.
Ma'am, if possible, can you play that video again, that last week's video, the
Yeah.
cartoon?
I shared it on the group. You should have seen it. But yeah,
I did
I was
see it.
just playing.
Yeah, just playing. So even Nandini can
Okay,
also
I thought
see it.
last week. Yeah, I'll just play it.
Yeah.
And just before we do that, so Jagan, you were there last time and we had shared a few things and stuff, right? So is there something that touched you or there's something that you could relate with or something that shocked you? I mean, was there any snapshot or any sharing that you would like to maybe speak about that stayed with you maybe? And the answer could be that no. So that's okay.
Yeah. The one thing that stayed with me is, asking for help.
Yeah.
It's asking for help is not my weakness. That really, I resonate with that.
Mm. Yeah, so I think it was that what is the bravest thing you have done or have said? And the answer was help.
Yes.
And I think there was a further one which said that asking for help is not giving up. It's when you choose not to give up, right? So that too was a beautiful spin. So we'll be looking at that aspect again. So yeah, because I felt it needs more love from our side so that we can take it more in. Yeah. And Nandini, anything from the snapshots that maybe resonated to you, you would like to share before we begin?
Yeah, I think the quote, that storms are really making me tired. And then the reply that they too will become tired and stop. I think that's really important, especially when you're struggling with some certain thing, to really know that this too shall pass. So, and I think we all know intellectually there's so much to read, but to kind of the challenge is really to embody or kind of really like I always struggle with, okay, I know, okay, I've read it, but how do I seep it in, like how do I really carry it as a concrete entity with me, like an anchor that, okay, this will pass and it shouldn't affect me the how much it's affecting me, because I think we all go, like as Monica was saying, the pendulum movement is quite long for a very long time, but not to go so much, because people are different, and like I've seen people who are not very like my father. He is a little bit detached, he's not very emotional, so things won't bother him so much, he's able to just come out of it. And where am I am so like emotionally involved in things that if some certain things hits me so bad that for a few days it's really hard, I can't even grapple, like, okay, I've read this or I've read that, even the simple thing like that. Sometimes I put it on the wall, on in front of my bed, few things that are like, that I keep seeing them, because when I go down, I shouldn't go so down that I forget to embody it in my body. So I think that was something that really, it was really beautiful. Yeah. You're muted.
the universe is saying something. So the session is over. Okay, so I was saying that one, and I mean all of them, but yeah, this one really touched me too, because I think a lot of times we forget, right? We forget that, how the boy so sweetly said that I'm tired. And then the answer was that the storms get tired too, right? Somehow, when I'm in the middle of the storm, there is this blindness that this is it, right? Like it's as if I'll never come out of it. And when we are there, we really believe that. It's not that, it's like, okay, I'm being crazy or something. So just this reminder that everything and anything also has a life, right? Like, so I should keep going. I should go on. And that right now when you were sharing, it also reminded me once, very long time back, I had seen a video of Alan Watts, I think, and he was talking about pain, that how to handle acute pain. So in that he had said that, what we do is that if we are having some pain, we so okay, I'm having pain, and then it got okay, and maybe after 2 days it again started, or 2 hours. I don't take the pain as it is. I say, oh my God, it's been there, then it's come again. Oh my God, I won't be able to handle this. And how long should I do it? So he was like, if we take things as they are, that okay, right now the pain is here. He said, you will see that you have so much more courage and tolerance to go through it. But when we add to it, right, that kab tak hoga, then it just adds fuel to the fire and you weaken yourself. And totally unrelated, but when I was like due for my baby's birth, my mother-in-law, again, she's very feisty and stuff. She told me that, there are two ways. Either you, as soon as the pain starts, you're like, oh my God, some people just start shouting, and the other person stays still. So he said the one who stays still lasts longer. So choose which one you would want to. So, I mean, my labor lasted for 3 days, 3 nights. So I know how it was. But I could see that, when you just let go, you just fall. You just fall. So if I can keep things fresh, like, okay, yes, it's hard, but, this too shall pass. I think, that's how we simply say it in a regular things, right? Like this too shall pass is another way that, okay, that storm would get tired too. It was really a beautiful reminder to tell that, yeah.
They're very similar something. And I think it's also with experiences that you learn. Like as you said about the pain, I remember very vividly something similar in relation to that. And I had depression really bad, and I went to see a psychotherapist here. And like I was asking, how long will it last? It's been 8 months, and I was really bad. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. Like there was so much anxiety that I couldn't even sit still. So it was that bad, and I was also on medication. And I asked him that for how long it will last. And I was crying because I was having crying spells. And he said, look, after diagnosing you how doctors could be, he said, depression might, it might get okay, but it might come back. So I don't think so you can recover from it, like in that sense, if you have gone into that deep depression. And that thing threw me off completely. It was like, I came home and I said, my goodness, I have to live with this. Like as you said, that pain thing that you have, that like how long will it last and all these things. And it made me worse. And I remember speaking to one of my relative who is on the path, of course, who initiated my journey. And she told me just one thing, but it hit so deeply, that it has become like a very concrete experience. That she said, tell me one thing in this world which is permanent. One thing. And we didn't talk. She was busy. She just told me that I just have to go because I have to talk with hours, because she was my only anchor that time. And I think that was very true. Like, that, but when you are in it, you can't see it. and it's the same thing with when my mom got diagnosed. Like I remember again, I was talking to my father that, don't tell me it can't be cured, it's stage 4, but we have to fight and all this, like I used to say. And he told me that she's terminal, and like as if the world has completely shattered. And again, there was a Buddhist friend. I went immediately that day, and I was like saying my mother is terminal, and again she told me just one thing, and that kind of I just hung, like I just stayed with that throughout the journey I took. And she told me that, aren't we all are terminal, and you are lucky that she's terminal, so use the time, if it is so. She told me that. So I mean, that thing, like I just want to share with that these experiences then kind of give you a little bit hint that yes, it is not permanent, things do change.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. When my brother passed on, my sister, she was really hit very hard. And after a few days, she had a dream in which she met him, and then she was like, she was upset with him, and she said that, how could you do this? How could you leave? And he just looked at her and said that, आपने यहीं रहना है, and that kind of just switched something in her, like that, yeah, it's like, what am I saying? But that's something we forget, right? And so these reminders from people, places, dreams, they help us in kind of just, it's like a knock that wakes us up a little bit. I mean, it still hurts, and yet you see the bigger scheme of things. So beautiful, these, pokes that put us back on the path. Yeah. Yeah, Chetna, hi, good evening. So we were just, sharing that from last week, the snippets and all that we had shared. If there's something that stayed with you or something that gave you something new or anything, if you would like to share that, and if there's nothing, that's fine from our sharings last time.
Thank you, Parul. Thank you, everybody. I've been listening in to your discussion and I really found it useful, meaningful. I just want to share first that I loved the session last time, the book and the whole idea of, and I yeah, I mean, I was thinking we could actually like with that book. Okay, so coming to the point, yeah, I mean, every single thing touched me. Like, first of all, was that, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was like, be kind. That really, because that is how I was like a child. And then I have been, trying to like mentally muster up things that I want to be and do. Uh, and it's kind of a switch that, I mean, yeah, so from being, I went to, doing a lot during my teenage and stuff like that, like when I wanted to, yeah, doing. And then now it's kind of wanting to get into that space of being again. But I do find it a task because by now I find that the ego is so much attached to doing and labels that come out of doing. Specifically for me, I'm sharing. So it's like when I'm not doing something that can be labelized for the world. It's like the ego is thinking, "What am I doing?" And that whole self worth kind of takes a. And literally, the ego asks me. I mean, it asks me this question: "What am I doing?" Even when I'm reflecting, the question doesn't come, "Who am I being?" It is still, "What am I doing?"
Oh, I think she got disconnected. Yeah. That I think is a very big thing, right? Like we've also shared a lot of from Thai, right? That the world is so focused on doing and not on being. So yeah, Chetna, please carry on.
Yeah, sorry, my internet sometimes. So even, yeah, right now also when I reflect, it's still, the question is what am I doing? And then there is this whole internal self-bashing that happens that, look, I used to be this and I used to be doing this and now I'm doing nothing. And, like not nothing, but like, yeah, I'm doing nothing and da 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 da. And it's like, yeah. And also that uh, the second part of that phrase, kind, to be kind, and that whole thing of being kind to oneself, that also reminded me of this phrase that I heard once and it stayed with me, and that is have courage and be kind. It's also like from a Disney movie and stuff. I actually love these, animated movies and books, and I like to take life lessons from them. So yeah, that phrase, have courage and be kind, it always stayed with me. And somehow during the end of the last session, I started connecting it to this book. And I was like, uh, when I heard that phrase, I always, thought it is a life lesson for me to practice with others, that have courage and be kind to others, you know. And somehow, when we were discussing kindness, it for the first time came to me that maybe that message is for myself, to to be kind to myself. And uh, and I want to ask and I want to explore the connection between courage and kindness, because kindness is usually taken as a weaker quality, coming out of weakness, maybe. And even for me, a lot of times, like I have experienced that in life, like even as a child, when I was very soft uh, and kind, people would generally assume कि ये weak है. And even, later it was like, if I forgive easily and stuff like that, people, like, take it as, I mean, generally, the connotation with kindness is weakness. But I want to ask, actually, I haven't yet, I mean, this just thought came that I want to explore the connection between courage and kindness. And even the receptivity point, last time that I shared, it came out of the space of me reflecting uh, in during the session, that am I being able to be kind to myself? Am I being able to be loving to myself? And then I discovered that even if, the universe gives me somebody who is being kind to me or wants to give me somebody something, I'm not even being receptive to that. Forget about me being kind to myself. अगर कोई मतलब सूरज तुम्हारे ऊपर निछावर कर रहा है, मैं तो वो भी नहीं ले रही हूँ. So, like because that whole concept that I can give to myself is not there. Like like that receptivity also came
Yeah, I'm
from that thing
understanding.
only, that I'm,
Mm.
yeah.
We are so
So just this I
skeptical.
want to explore,
Yeah, yeah,
especially courage and kindness. How could it,
yeah.
does it take courage to be kind to oneself? I really don't know, but I think there would be some reason why these two are used together in that sentence, that have courage and be kind. There would be something,
Yes,
because it
of
just
course. Yes,
struck
of
me.
course. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Okay.
it's there's so many answers to that, but I think this is something that one has to experience for oneself. So just giving a slight window, and then I let you look in yourself, that to stand by your side, especially if you're not going with the flow, just sit with it and see how much courage it takes. And that is me being kind to myself. So, how everybody is flowing and I am also flowing. There's no much kindness there. There's no much courage there. But if I have to do what I feel is my inner calling, if I feel passionate about something, you were talking about journalism, how you went for it and how you believed in it and stuff. So just giving you a little push there, because this is a beautiful exploration and discovery, that how much courage it takes to be kind to myself and others. And I'm surprised how it's linked to weakness. I didn't see it that way somehow, but yeah, it could be. But yeah, being kind, giving takes a lot of courage, especially till it becomes your nature. Yeah, so I think that should be enough, and you'll discover it yourself. And now Jagan had requested that we see that small cartoon video again, and my son is also waiting. He heard Jagan say, I want to see it again. He wants to see it too. And then we'll share the other thing. So I'll start that again.
Do you think someone's hurt?
Maybe.
Should we go and check?
Good idea. I'll stay in here to, keep you warm.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Please, be careful.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I am not afraid.
If I wasn't caught in this snare, I'd kill you.
If you stay in that snare, you'll die.
You did so well.
One of our greatest freedoms is how we react to things.
Like a snowball. No, a mole ball. A snowball. Gosh, no. The river. Look out! No, no, no!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is this same video? Last time there was a horse also.
Yeah, so this was just a cartoon based on that clip. So yeah, this is like there's a whole book and there's a horse also. But in this small snapshot that somebody created, I don't know who, till now, I think they haven't met the horse. The horse comes a bit later in the book. Yeah.
From that video, I think what came to me was the answer that Chetna asked, the relation between courage and kindness. And like from that, what I felt that, and very true, they're used together, because I feel that they have to be like, you cannot be kind without being courageous. So kindness, kindly courageous. You have to be kindly courageous. And that, the mole actually says the boy that we should go and help somebody. And he wants to be kind, but that kindness cannot be there if he's not courageous in front of the fox. The fox is saying, I'm going to, if you just, if you open me, I'll eat you up. But he has the courage to say that if you stay there, you'll die. So my kindness cannot exist without courage. And also, like, I can share that with you if you want something. With Thich Nhat Hanh, somebody asked him that, he revolted in Vietnam against, he said non-violence is the way with how Vietnam conflict is going on. And he said, if you're going to take this side, you will be exiled. And he loved Vietnam with all his heart. But because he had so much kindness for the people who were dying, he thought that violence cannot be the way forward in this conflict. He was exiled, but he had the courage of still saying it, and then collaborating with Martin Luther King, and the activism they did, they finally made Vietnam War come to an end. So I also feel that you have to be kindly courageous and courageously kind too, because sometimes we have this individuality where we have the courage and we want to go ahead with it. Oh, I'm very courageous, I can face my, like, with me I have felt it a lot. I'm always like, even with my partner, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this in the morning, I have to do my yoga, I have to do this. And sometimes sometimes he doesn't understand. And over time I have realized that my courage cannot be there without kindness. Sometimes now I will tell him one day in advance, I'll sit with them and explain him, look, I want to do this because I think this helps me, this service really helps me cope with this, or I want to do that. He said, okay, I understand now. And it's easier. So if my courage is only, okay, I'm courageous, I can leave anything, I can pursue this. But if it's not followed by kindness, that it is not true individuality or not spiritual individuality. So in that sense, I feel both are interrelated. You have to be kindly courageous and courageously kind. If you see deeper, even the video came. So just that from video, and you raised this, so I thought.
Yeah, thank you, Nandini.
Yes. Thank you, Nandini, and thank you, Daru, for playing that. Yeah, it resonates. Makes sense.
So let's look at some. What should we look at? Okay. Okay, so I just opened something randomly. So it says, what is freedom? Cried the boy. And the horse said, to be loved as you are, said the horse. So, when we read something like this, we feel that, oh, yeah, the person I'm with or the people I'm with, they expect so much of me to change. And yet the question is, do I love people as they are, or am I trying to change them? So, if I want freedom, I'll have to give it. If I want love, I'll have to give it. So, what is freedom? Cried the boy. To be loved as you are, said the horse. So, very small thing and yet so profound. So, do you see a different clip now, or it's the same one that's coming? If you could let me know, like last time.
Yeah, we are seeing the image.
sorry, I couldn't understand, Jagan.
No, we are seeing the single image, not the whole gallery, so it's clear.
You see the one that says, "What do you think about fame?" That's the screen you're seeing,
Yes.
na? Thank you. Yeah. So again, this was pretty amazing that what do you think about fame? And the horse said, "Who's he?" Right? And our whole lives could be directed towards becoming something, being someone, that having an image and conforming to it. So very fresh take on it, that if we too could not even be aware of those things that we give us nothing except take us away to places where we don't want to really go, but we just flow towards them. So another knock on the door. This we had shared last time too, that what's your best discovery? Asked the mole. And the boy said that I'm enough as I am, said the boy. So again, it goes with, the freedom quote. It's a little not very sharp, but yeah. Yes, Chetan.
Yeah, this one I really want to ask if somebody can share a bit more, because I mean, I know it seems very simple as a sentence. And for the last few years, one of my best friends has been saying this to me always, that, you are enough as you are. And I mean, I mean, say maybe at the surface level, I can understand what the words mean, but I really don't know what it means. I mean, I connected to the first one that you shared, that we loved. Yeah, I think yours, to be loved are. I mean, all of us are seeking that. Yeah. Uh, but that I still understand.
Yeah. Okay, so she, I think, got disconnected. So would anybody want to respond to that? We can wait for her to come back though for a minute. Yeah, she's back.
What was the question, ma'am?
Uh,
मतलब हाथ में समझ में आया।
Yeah, so Jagan, see this thing that we were sharing, na, what's your best discovery? And the answer was that I am enough as I am. So she's just asking that she would want more light on this, that what does this really mean? That I am enough as I am. What does that mean to us?
First of all, Chetna back.
Yeah.
Oh, I have the view list, like the participant list hidden. So
Okay.
okay. Yeah. First of all, Chetna, congratulations on having a friend who, who told you you are enough as you are. That's very important to have such company in life. And if I can give my perspective with my limited understanding, then I will say that especially when I was in a circle, and when like I had a very close friend, and I said, things weren't really going well between us, and one day I just said, Ki, no, let's just stop this. We have to move on, and I moved on. It was painful, but after a while, I got to realize that I was afraid of leaving that relationship, thinking there is nothing in me, and it's all in that friendship that was me. But when I left that friendship and I got out of it, I could see so many things in me, and I knew it, but I didn't know it. Like, I don't know how it happens, but it just happened. And I thought, okay, you know what, now that I'm alone, now that no one's judging me, now I can sing loud, now I can dance, I can do anything. uh, you know, I can, like, I was able to see all the things I've learned, everything, and be proud of myself. Yeah, so that's what I understand.
Yes, this does, yes, resonate. Yeah. Thank you. If it does make me remember something. Yeah. Like what I'm understanding from this is we put so much emphasis on, labels, that I am this and I'm from here and all of that. But even without these labels, I am enough as I am, like the soul that I am.
For me, if I say I'm enough, or I am, I'm the abundance, or there's so many these things you can say, it doesn't resonate. I don't resonate with it. I don't see it, because I don't see it. I don't see, like, I don't like, for many things we lack and resonating with lack. But for me, what helps is that if I identify myself with something that's really full, that I think is full. For example, it could be mother for me, it could be a divine that you resonate with. If you do not, Buddhahood in us, inside us, if that approach, if if there's not like divine outside that we resonate, but inside, it's everything inside we know. I think if I just resonate with that, I am the Buddha, I am not Nandini, because Nandini is very limited. Nandini has anger. Nandini makes promises and break it. The outer shell is filled with imperfection, but there is a Buddha in me. I am mother's child. I am her daughter. Like I tell myself that, this is there, but I have to go there. I look towards the future and say, but I'm her daughter. And that resonates with me a lot. So I think for me, that works a little bit, of course, each to their own, because you asked for this thing. I'm just sharing with myself that like I tell myself I'm not going to eat after 8 and I still do it, and I'm still struggling from 6-8 months. So if I say I am enough, I don't resonate, because like I see it every day. I am not. But okay, I keep telling, but I'm mother's child. If I cannot, she can for me. If that sense, hoga, abhi nahi hoga, baad mein hoga. I have to keep making effort little bit. At least I can see myself improving a bit by bit, maybe. But just saying I am the Buddha, just saying it, that हमने पढ़ा है, अभी experience नहीं किया, but होगा, इतने लोग कह रहे हैं, बेवकूफ तो नहीं है, सब sages कह के गए, कबीर जी को पढ़ते, इतने sessions attend करते हैं, मोनिका तरु रोज बोलते, हमें नहीं पता, but at least होगा ना. I mean, not everybody can lie, so many people. So if just saying that I'm the Buddha, not resonating, one day I'll resonate, but I think that helps, linking myself to something which resonates to me as enough, as abundant, as the all. So just my experience with that.
Yes, even this resonates. And this, I mean, there is like I did connect to what Jagan also said when I am enough, because it then helps me to kind of distance from the layers and the labels that I try to fill myself with. That I'm enough because and then I connected to what you said, Nandini, because I'm enough because of the divine that is in me, like the soul that I am, that is connected to the divine consciousness. That is why, yeah. But when I first read that sentence, I also had this question that if I am enough, then why am I seeking the divine? And then why am I seeking a union with the divine? If the divine is already in me.
Yeah, Chetna, are you
And
hungry right now?
I am?
Are you
No.
hungry? No?
No.
Would you still like an
No.
ice cream?
Yeah.
Why would you want ice cream?
Because I love ice cream.
Yeah, same reason.
So, yeah.
No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, एक है कि the
Okay.
way we are living life, we are given this, जैसे पोस्टर लगा दिया मेरे चेस्ट पे कि I am incomplete. And movies, conditionings, dialogues, people, stories, I have shown because these are the 10 ways in which this incomplete boat can be changed into complete. And we have discussed this often, and it's also believed that when two incomplete people come, that make complete. But how can incomplete plus incomplete be complete? It makes no sense. It is 2 times incomplete. And that's what we see in a relationship. So when I see this, that I am enough as I am, it basically means that what I don't lack. I don't associate with the lack in me. I know I am enough as I am. And now when I go to get something, achieve something, I'm doing this out of a joy कि perfect है, बहुत अच्छा है, और अच्छा के लिए वो है, but that's not completing me. I am complete. I feel I am enough. And I'm doing this for the joy of it. Because if I'm entering a race, it's not about, oh my God, if I win, that will give me something. I already have everything I need. And yet, again, it's a thing between Maya and Leela. कि अगर माया है तो कोलू के बैल की तरह मैं काम कर रहा हूँ कि अरे मुझे तो कुछ करना है, और लीला है तो मैं सब कुछ कर वही रहा हूँ हो सकता है, बट आई एम डूइंग इट विद अ स्माइल कि अरे ओके आई कैन डू दिस, आई ओके यहाँ भी भाग लेते हैं, चलो देखते हैं क्या होता है. So there is this thing that I am enough and I am doing this for delight, for love, for experiences, for growth, for progress. But I don't say I lack. I associate, again, I think एक और इसमें था which we can resonate with, and that might answer your question too. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, this one. A little bit, it's going there. Where is it? It's so small. No, not this one. 1 second. Yes, this one. So it says, is your glass half empty or half full? Asked the mole. So I think I'm grateful to have a glass, said the boy. So I am enough. And now this full, empty, sometimes more full, sometimes less, this is less important than the fact that I am. So if that helps, I think that's could be a window one could look out of. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I feel that, till the time we are identified with the ego consciousness, no matter how much we try, this I cannot be enough, because the I that we are speaking is not the egoistic I, because its nature is not to be complete. You can try different strategies. Okay, I'll leave this group of friends for some time, I'll do this, like even with me, I'll try to do this meditation, and kind of try to do the makeover over my egoistic consciousness. It might work, it does work for some time, but something else will come, and again that thing. So it's like a circle. That's why these lifetimes, because we are still identified. So I think the real the real solution that I think Monica the other side as well is only to break free from this egoistic consciousness and to really discover the true I, which is enough, that all of us have, the I that can say I am enough because it is enough. So I think that's also I was feeling.
Yes, Nandini, thank you. So just again, is your glass half empty or half full? I think I'm grateful to have a glass. So how we say that there's always something that we can be grateful for, but because I take things that I have as entitlements, that ये तो है ही, इसके लिए मैं क्या thanks बोलूं या इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? So, when we lose things, health, status, whatever, then we realize that, wow, how much we had. So again, it's very important if we can come to a place where I can be grateful, okay, at least I have something that I can hold water or juice in, half empty, half full. It doesn't matter because my life is spent in empty and full. कम हो रहा है, ज़्यादा हो रहा है, ऊपर जा रहा है, नीचे जा रहा है, right? And I forget the vessel that I can be grateful for to hold things. Yeah. . Yeah, I think we might have touched on this briefly. I don't remember. But again, I think this is really great. So, what are you glad you gave up? Asked the boy. So, trying to please everyone, said the horse. So, when I'm pleasing, I'm not living, right? I'm not being true. I'm not doing things I should be doing. And the worst part is that the pleasing is so momentary. I do something good and everybody is like, Arey wah wah wah. And the second I am like maybe not meeting their expectations, they'll be like, what dumbness are you doing? So it doesn't carry much, the weight of what I do. It's so reactive and right there that it's not worth it. So if we are able to give that, give that up, we would travel much more light and towards the light. But we all kind of run after this, this place of harmony, which we feel is harmony, but it's a very harmony of, how they say कि किसी भी time गिर सकती है. But we put in a lot of effort. Say if I have a book and I have another book and I'm keeping it like this and then I'm just holding it कि किसी तरह बस एक खड़ी रहे. This is the harmony that I am mostly seeking and trying to protect, not a solid harmony. So anytime I am putting band-aids, or threads in the relationships or safety pins, that is to hold something which doesn't have a strong base. So it doesn't give me much. So when I leave it, I realize that, oh, इससे तो मुझे कुछ मिल भी नहीं रहा था and it was just taking too much effort for this so-called harmony, which really was never harmony. It was just कि okay, react नहीं कर रहे हैं, superficially okay लग रहे हैं, तो let me keep doing it, let me keep doing it. Yeah. Yeah, I think this also I very strongly resonated with. This one says, what else? Asked the boy. So it says that you will have plenty of critics, said the horse. Don't be one of them. So I think a whole session can be done on this. Not that we'll do it, but yeah, inviting any reflections on this or anything if we would want to. Yeah, so we can,
Yes.
yeah.
I was uh, I was feeling even this was yesterday also regarding the will, you know, it's like when somebody criticizes you, it somehow, like I was connecting it to will also yesterday, and I'm glad that came up. When somebody criticizes you, it's like a part of your subconscious absorbs it. Like with me, it's like that criticism gone into my body. Like even if now my mind or my some part of me wants to do something, is like energetic about it, that oh, I used to love this, let me do it. It's like the body doesn't give energy at all, doesn't support it at all, because there is a part of that criticism that has gone so deep into the cells of the body that it doesn't want to get up, even if my mind is commanding it that uh, that it's like कि क्या होगा, मतलब इतना तो it thinks that whatever it does is like of no use, it only gets criticism, so why to do now? But basically, I'm not sharing this for complaining, yeah mere साथ इतना Yeah, I'm really sorry I get but so it's not out of this thing that victimhood or something सबके साथ होता है मे बी मेरे साथ 1% हुआ और मैंने उसको 100% अब्सॉर्ब कर लिया किसी के साथ 100 टाइम्स हुआ होगा उसने 1% भी नहीं अब्सॉर्ब किया but what I want to and it's also difficult for me to share it because it also makes me look like a victim and that I'm complaining so much but why I want to share is that I want to ask because it's like I also feel that this will make me stronger because if it had not happened I would not develop the strength to be who I am. Like basically it has happened to help me develop strength, so I want to now develop that strength because if not today it would have happened tomorrow and at least I'm getting the support to be able to see it and to come out of it so that it doesn't stop me anymore. But what I want to ask is like when criticism happens, like how do you deal with it? Because maybe it is also a projection of our own self criticism only. Maybe maybe because I was a shy introvert child, maybe there was a part of me that was always internally criticizing myself, so it got projected from outside as well. But how do I mean how does one if I should not criticize myself, then how should I deal with myself and my maybe if I see the flaws or maybe if people see the flaws and I'm not able to like I don't know how to deal with this with criticism, especially if it goes into your subconscious or your body.
Yeah. Chetna, so mother says that, if somebody points something, a mistake or something, so we should listen what they are saying. We should look within that, is that true? Do I do that? We should sit with it, give it some space. If we see something, even a little bit that's pointing towards that, we can work on it, we can offer it. Now there's light on it, so we know we do it. Knowing that we are here because we are not perfect, we are here for growth, we are here for progress, so not taking it on the ego. And if we feel there is no truth in it, or if we feel I can't do anything about it, but yes, I've noted it, maybe this will be shown, so then I can just move on. I don't have to dwell on it. That's one. Secondly, a lot of times I feel criticism is there to kind of give you some more strength. That, okay, if you're doing something and you believe in it, and others are saying, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? But then if you're still doing it, you develop that, that strength that no matter what anybody is saying, I feel very strongly about it. I want to do it. So it's not a, kind of a wishy-washy life. It's not क्योंकि हाँ ये एम है, अच्छा तुमने मना कर दिया, अच्छा नहीं करता, अच्छा चला जाऊं, अच्छा तुम कह रहे हो नहीं जाऊं, नहीं जाता. So that kind of a life which is like you're alive, not sure whether you are because you don't look alive. You don't appear to be alive. So that too, I think, is needed. जैसे होता है ना कि you are, जैसे I think Rumi says ना कि how will you be polished, my dear, if you cry out at every rub? So we have to acknowledge that, and I have to ask myself that, okay, I'm getting criticized, हर जगह से resistance हो रही है, फिर भी करना है, उससे मुझे पता चलता है. And I have seen that places where I get resistance from, they actually make me much stronger. Ketcha, you're saying no, now I know I have to do it. So it actually helps me even make a greater, stronger, kind of resolve towards things. And I guess what, Acharya Prashant says, he says कि उसने कहा तूने सुना क्यों? तो वो भी मेरे ऊपर है कि मैं कहाँ कहाँ बैठ के क्या क्या सुन रहा हूँ, कहाँ कहाँ रोड साइड पे चाय पी के अपने वो कर रहा हूँ, तो why do I have so much time to give so much energy to it? So lot of things are there, but I might, if I am being critical, it's like, say, if you have a child or, you're young, you might have some cousins and all. So how would you want to raise them, with criticism or with motivation and love? So the same way we have to raise ourselves, not by criticism. Like you said, how do I evolve then? How do I progress? क्रिटिसिज्म इज कि एक चीज दिख रही है और फिर उस पर चढ़ गए कि अरे क्या हो रहा है, अरे मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ ड्रामा एंड स्टोरीज ऑन इट, इन इट, एंड व्हेन यू सी समथिंग देन वर्क ऑन इट. बट वर्क करने से हम लोग थोड़ा सा हिचकिचाते हैं, बट वही जो कंप्लेनिंग और इसमें जो रस है वो वर्क में कहाँ है ना, तो पहले वो कर लेते हैं और वो करना चाहिए. पर जब वो हो जाए, मतलब वी शुड नॉट dwell ऑन इट टू मच टू लॉन्ग, एंड देन से कि हाँ ड्रामा भी हो गया, पता भी चल गया, अब थोड़ा काम भी कर लूं. तो it's funny and yet it's not, but that's how we do it and that's fine. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I got some answers. Yes. Thank you.
I remember, some time ago, my mother-in-law came, stayed with me, and I really served her with everything I could. Usually very busy because of work and everything else, but I tried doing my best. And when she left, I asked my partner, I said, how what did she say? Like, oh, you expect that everything would be great because you really did your best and everything. And I remember he said, well, she said that you are a little bit lazy in cleaning. And I remember that one sentence was like, for 3 big months, I was like, simmering on it. That, like, how can she say that? I have did so much for her. And I used to say to the mother that, mother, look, I did good thing. And look what I got, that I am not good at cleaning. This. And that one comment was, like a big this thing. That, as you said, it went in very deep inside. Like, I could feel the hurt, few things you can brush off. Oh, you didn't do like, or I usually get criticism with my thesis and all with my supervisor, and that's fine. Also because it's constructive criticism, they're telling you to progress, but certain things, and also you identify that, okay, this is productive criticism, which is easier to take, but there are certain type of criticism which is meant differently, right? So your body realizes it. Your body has a lot of wisdom. And for me, it, like you said, I have a lot of pain, around my chest area and my stomach area about this thing. And it went, but then I don't know where I read this about progress, as Taru said, that I think Eckhart Tolle said it, that, life here or relationships, if you just let go of this one belief that relationships are here to make you happy and to progress, not to make you happy, but progress, your nature of relationships will change. And I think that was thing that really, really helped me see sincerely and say, okay, yes, I am not good at cleaning because, I've never cleaned when I was in India. My mother used to do everything, so much pampered in love and everything, very self-lacking in cleanliness, never vacuumed properly, just like job, not clean. And that, and I, and then I, of course, you ask to the universe give you, like, as mother says, the world is your mirror, other people are your mirror. And I read something in Sunlit Path only. It's a beautiful way on cleanliness. Mother talks about it, how important it is to have cleanliness, not only inner but outer. So your environment, everything should be very clean, so that no adverse forces are present in it. And it changed me. Like, it really did, and I feel so happy now. I feel like hugging her. What she told me, and I said, thank you, because had that not been so blunt, because even my partner or my mother would say, yaar, theek se to kar le, theek se saaf nahi kiya. Itne saalon se, for 26, 27 years of my life, never bothered. But that one comment, which was so sharp, like a razor, how it came, it just did the magic. So, I mean, I know it still hurts. It doesn't go, but at least I look, as Taru said, okay, yes, that's true. And some of the things I say, that's superficial, that's coming just as, I'm ignorant, so is the other person. So I just let it go and just wish. And that also I pray that mother, may we all have the light, in that sense. But if there's a pearl of wisdom that I have to take, it's good for my progress. I mean, that as well. I can share that with you if you like.
In the cartoon also that we saw, this thing was said that one of our greatest freedom is how we react to things. So, that's what I felt, Nandini, you were sharing too, that how I take what I take, and if I use it for feeling sorry for myself or for growth. So that's beautiful. So maybe, I don't know how much further we want to go, but this too stopped me when I reached here, that imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. And afraid we are. Maybe not of, not from monsters now that we have grown up. And yet I have so many fears. And those fears stop me from living the life I am here to live and I should be living. So just acknowledging that yes, I'm scared. And yes, I would like to give up those fears. So just imagine how we would be if we were less afraid, that if I'm thinking something, okay, I'll do this. And imagine if there is no voice which is saying, "Ke tere se hoga kya?" You know how we kind of stop our own selves, how we allow these fears to come and stop us is pretty amazing, how they're small things which we say, "Arre, that means nothing." And yet, this is the reason why we are a lot more restricted. Life is monotonous. We are stuck at places because we are scared of having wrong images that we feel. I mean, images that we feel are wrong, and I don't want to be that image. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to do this. Like, some have bases, others have don't. And yet, if I could lead a fearless life, imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. And how it's, they are not saying that not afraid. And yet, less.
The Chetna's question to the previous photo. Um, Chetna, I have been an introvert for a really long time. I had a stammering to add on to it, and I couldn't even talk in groups and circles and without being made fun and all. Um, Especially when I was pointed at my, faults, right? If I used to burst out like, ki, I would just say, ki, how dare you say this, and I would just walk away. You but there, but always with my, I'll just give my experience with my mother only. I'm always afraid of my mother's advice because they're always right. Whenever she tells me that, don't do this, I know they were right, those were right, and a part of me is like, don't listen, because that is so true. And what happened is I always would fight with my mom कि मुझे ऐसे क्यों बोला, मतलब मैं अब तक जो मैंने करा ये कुछ बेकार का था, ऐसे क्यों करा. So I would I would fight with her and I would say कि नहीं बात करना, and I would go away. I would take my motorcycle out and I would like, go. And I would sit. Somehow I developed this habit of sitting with myself for extended periods of time, and turn off my phone and everything. Then I could see that there are two beings in me talking. One is एक बोल रहा है कि सुन तो ले पहले ठीक से, क्यों बोला, सुन तो ले. दूसरा बोल रहा है मुझे बोला. एंड ये कॉन्वर्सेशन में ना हमेशा 100% of the time I end up listening. But the progress, matlab, I'm telling you this because I am still in the progress, and I'm an apprentice. Apprentice, is that the right word? In this progress, and I'm learning. So for me, initially, मतलब किसी ने मुझे बोला तो मैं ऐसे नहीं बोलूंगा कि wow, thank you for the light. I will say क्यों बोला, and then I'll fight, and then I'll go back, but I'll still, reconcile. I'll still talk to myself. I'll still question it, and I'll still learn from. And it's not like ये होगा नहीं होगा, ये होगा, 100% होगा. But if you can sit with yourself, or like whatever you feel is comfortable for you, and talk and maybe write down, it really helps. It really helps. वो सारे सवालों का, especially मुझे personally जब कोई बोलता है ना, फेस टू फेस बोलता है ठीक है, मैं थोड़ा, लेकिन अगर कोई ग्रुप या सर्कल में कोई बोल देता है मुझे कुछ, मेरा दिल टूट जाता है. मतलब लगता है कि मतलब यार मेरा रेपुटेशन क्या क्या होगा. Although it's something I have to not even think about, but again ये होता है ऐसे. So yeah, so sitting with yourself and questioning, and I'll just take one more minute of the time. Last month actually, I was in my at my cousin's place. We were with my 7 friends, who I met in Canada, and this cousin of mine, he abruptly out of nowhere, he just said कि तुम ना actually थोड़ा डरपोक हो. And it caught me off guard. Like said कि अब तुम बहुत डरते हो, डरपोक नहीं, तुम बहुत डरते हो, and it's not necessary. COVID के time में you were too afraid of my children getting COVID, and that's why you were doing all this cleaning and washing of hands and all that. In my mind, I'm thinking कि I love your kids, I love your 8-month-old, I love your 2-year-old, which is why I'm sanitizing everything, the doorknobs से सब कुछ, because I was seeing people die outside, and I had to go outside, and I could not bear even the thought that it's coming out of me. Yeah, I was being a little too extra cautious. I thought इसको तूने इसको पकड़ के तू बोल रहा है मैं डरपोक हूँ, although I am being, it's my love for you. And it took me 2 weeks. It didn't happen like one day. मैं कभी जब भी टाइम मिलता था ये सब ख्याल आता था, मैं बैठ के सोचता था. And at one point ना, I think he was also not fully wrong. I'll not say he's fully right, but he was not fully wrong. There is a being, मतलब इतना भी क्यों डरना, अगर होना है तो होगा, अगर मतलब मैं नहीं करूँ कोई और करेगा. तो उसमें ना मतलब देन आई वाज, मतलब मुझे लगा कि आई विल नॉट टॉक टू हिम एनी मोर. लाइक देयर इज नो पॉइंट कि ये कैसे बोल दिया सब दोस्तों के सामने. बट इवेंचुअली जब वो ईगो हट जाता है, देन एक्चुअली जो उसमें जो उस कन्वर्सेशन का जो क्रक्स होता है वो समझ में आ जाता है. तो या दैट्स ऑल.
When I saw this text of yours, Taru, of the book of being less afraid, um, the physical fears was not so much that I was looking at. I think taking the unconventional path, that is the most fearful, I think. Because we are so set in our ways, right? If I have to leave my plush job, if I have to leave my big house, move into a small studio, if I take up not my 5-figure salary, but a job which just gives me just enough to survive, but it gives me a lot of joy. To kind of take those decisions are much more, I think, scary at this point in my life, more than, I just came from my cycling and we were going through these narrow paths and the ravine was next to me and I was like thinking of mother. And I came back sound and safe. But when I look at this text, I was not thinking of that. I was thinking of breaking all those molds are so much more difficult and cause me so much more anxiety and fear. Going against the expectations of my parents that, Deepa is leading a successful life, a successful marriage, has wonderful kids, is well placed in society, and break all of that and take a path which is so massively transforming, going into an NGO or into the ashram, doing some good work. I mean, to take that step forward, even though it is possible in a year or two, is scary for me. And I'm thinking of that when I'm thinking of what it would be like if I have to take the path, if I'm less afraid.
Yeah, at different phases and stages of our life, there are different things that we could be afraid of, and जहाँ पे हमको जिस चीज से रोका जा सकता है वो रोका जाता है, and that is what helps us develop our muscles and our resolves, like I was saying. Because if I'm not scared of something, say you were saying the physical, then we have transcended that, at least in that state, and there's something else which will grab us and, yeah, try to make us dance to their tunes. It's like sometimes when a lot of times when I see something or there's some confusion or something, there's a question, I open up Savitri randomly, after like a small prayer, ki, okay, just what is this? What is happening? Or, I just open it up. And once I remember, I was very confused, this or that, this or that. And I opened, and it was like, there was this passage on how we are being puppeted. It was like, the whole thing is being puppeted. You are being puppeted. रोक सको तो रोक लो. अभी भी रोकोगे तो अगली बार फिर puppeted होगे. So, like how, like not saying it in a फंसे ही हुए हैं thing, but it was very kind lines that came, that it's all right. If you're puppeted and you can see you're puppeted and know that there would be a state where the puppeting would end. But yes, right now I am being puppeted. I am being scared. And so just imagining that what if I am less scared? So like you were talking about, okay, certain decisions, right? That how that fear kind of comes to you. And yet just imagining that what if I did not have this fear? How would I be able to do it then? That in itself is a very uplifting thought, right? It gives us kind of a courage that, okay, यहीं कहीं से उठाया, यहीं कहीं आ रहा है और कहीं कहीं चला भी जाएगा. Like we were sharing, in the beginning, Nandini said that the one she resonated most with that one, that, the storms also get tired. So knowing that fear doesn't have a base in anything, वो तो मैं जिस चीज से, I can feel it little bit, वो मेरे ऊपर आके उसी पे बैठ जाते हैं कि हाँ हाँ देख, इससे तो डरना ही चाहिए. So I am giving it life. Otherwise, just like a virus comes, how they say कि अपनी उसकी तो कोई life है ही नहीं. But it's clever, it knows, अच्छा वहां जा रही है तो वहां पे तो इससे डराना चाहिए, वहां जा रही है तो वहां पे तो उससे डरना चाहिए. So if we start seeing how cleverly it's trying to get a grip on me, I can maybe evade or lessen the grips. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And that's, yeah, but if I can do this, even while crying, if there's something in me which is smiling, कि देखो क्या हो रहा है. So that kind of adds a little bit of more fun, little bit of more delight to the everyday grinds that we all have to go through, at least now. Yeah. So just coming to our end, so there was this one thing that kind of speaks on the same thing, right? Most of the old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams. And if we look at, videos of elderly, and a lot of time there are such videos, or if we were just talking to somebody, if they are evolved, if they have, if they are mature, they would say that go live, don't think so much, And of course, there would be other side of elderly too who are still not, and that's why we say age is just a number, but just a way of saying that anybody who has lived well would tell us to be less afraid and move further towards our dream. So, this was kind of, yes, Anandini.
No, I just wanted to say that one thing that's coming to my mind, I think it's by Pema Chodron, if I'm not wrong, but that also phrase that stays with me all the time, especially with difficult situations, like a lot of it that we discussed, self-criticism, compassion, kindness, courage, this. One thing is that be a thermostat and not a thermometer. And that thing, I always say that to myself when I'm in a difficult situation, especially, with my dad, if I'm having a heated argument, or my supervisor, or especially with my partner, if something is going wrong. And, I know, okay, this is the time now I'm gonna burst out because, I've had enough. I just tell myself when she says that I have to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. So of course we know thermometer is, all the chaos that's there, everything, the temperature, it reflects, right? Thermostat is trying to regulate it. It's not reflecting it, it's regulating it. So but that's what she was saying. And also she said once that, like when you have difficult people or, like different circumstances, see it as how you treat an illness. So if somebody has an illness or a cough, what you will do when you see them, would you have judgment or would you react to it? You would say, okay, there's an illness, you'll offer help. If it's really contagious, you can get it from that, you'll take some space, but you'll wish them well, right? And that's the thing that you have to do with somebody who's being really angry, somebody who's being really mean, somebody's off, really being critical about you, or Jagan, about how Jagan said as well, or like I shared, or we all have experiences. I think that, that these two things, I can see that as an illness, first of all. And the second thing is that I don't have to mirror it now by tuning into that vibration and start yap, yap, yap. But I can be a thermostat. Now that could differ. You can do loving kindness, you can say wish them well, or you can just decide to leave and take your space. So yeah, I just thought of sharing that. Suddenly came to my mind, be a thermostat and not a thermometer.
Yeah, so there was this five, six of them which were on the theme of, say, storms and brave, like courage and all. So I don't know, I don't want to take it to the next week if we want to just look at it right now if we have time. Otherwise, I just share it on the group. So this is the first one. I'm assuming you can see my screen. So this we had seen last time too, that I don't know why my screen is not coming through. Yeah, what is the bravest thing you've ever said? Asked the boy. Help, said. It's not coming fully. Just share it again. So this is what Jagan was also referring to. In the sense, he said he had really liked. I just open it and it's all. Yeah. So yeah, this is what Jagan was saying, that what's the bravest thing you've ever said? Asked the boy. Help, said the horse. Yeah. So how it's so brave? That is bravery, right? Asking for help that we were discussing. That was one that we had covered last time too. Yeah, and this is on the same lines of the storm kinds of that, those are dark clouds, said the boy. Yes, but they will move on, said the horse. The blue sky above never leaves. So I think again, this faith, this assertion that, that blue sky is there, and there are so many quotes, right? That I'm not the clouds, I'm the sky. It's like the weather dictates me, but the weather is temporary, it changes. Those are dark clouds, said the boy. And whenever I'm facing any challenge, difficulty, criticism, unkindness, reminding myself that yes, but this is just a cloud and there's a sky above that never leaves. Like Nandini was sharing that, I still do things that I would want to do better. I'm not able to do this or that, but remembering that I'm not this, I'm somebody, something higher, bigger, and I will become that, is reminding ourselves that the blue sky above never leaves. But because most of my life is focused on the clouds, right? Rain clouds, I'm dancing, dark clouds, I'm scared, blue clouds, I'm happy. How, again, different things were different, but recognizing that the blue sky is the truth and that's always there, the permanence in my life, and the clouds come and go and change colors. So a small, yes, Deepa.
The blue sky for me like becomes synonymous with the divine. Like he will put the challenges and yet he's still there. So you overcome your obstacles and he will be there waiting for you. So it's just different perspective, right? Yeah, how
No,
it
this is
strikes each one of
exactly
us.
what it means. So 10 on 10 for getting where the nail hammer was being hit. So that's exactly that, that there is that divine in me too, which is guiding me, or, that light. So yes, this is what it's symbolizing in its most perfect way, that it's there. And these ups and downs, they are just Leela, like we were saying. And yeah, so thank you for saying that. And congratulations for saying that. Yeah. So this was very simple, that I don't feel brave, said the boy. That was a brave thing to say. So, and I don't acknowledge that, right? And yet it is very brave. And it's brave because that means that I have now, it's in my thing, right? I can see this is where I'm stuck. I can see this is why I'm scared. So now it feels that I'm ready to transcend that, and acknowledging that again is so beautiful. So this again would come to what Chetna was sharing. What does courage mean? Asked the boy. To tell the truth of who you are with your whole heart. I'm scared. I'm scared of being who I am. I'm scared of my truths. I have to take a vow that, I'll now be honest. It doesn't come naturally to me because I'm scared of being who I am. I'm scared of showing who I am to myself and to the world. So, what does courage mean? Asked the boy. To tell the truth of who you are with your whole heart. And it again, falls with even in line with, imagine who would you be if you were less afraid? Because it's my fears, it's my expectations, my compliance to the images of who I want to be portrayed as that tells me to hold back. कि ये ज्यादा हो जाएगा, ये मत बता, या ऐसे मत कर, ये तो over the top हो गया. So what does courage mean? Asked the boy. To tell the truth of who you are with your whole heart. This again very simple but beautiful to again read. So we have a long way to go, sighed the boy. Yes, but look how far we have come, said the horse. So we need such horses in us and in our life to remind us, because the journey, they say, is really long, or it appears to be. But when we see the progress we have made, it really helps us and gives us courage and motivation that if I have come this far, if I've even come one step forward, that's a big one step. I can't say, but meko to unlimited jana hai. That's a different story. But we must look also how far we have come, said the horse. So this, I think, again falls very beautifully to that I can't see a way through, said the boy. Can you see your next step? Yes. So just take that, said the horse. We all do that. We all strive to do that. And yet sometimes the enormity of the complications or the situations, it tries to weigh us down. But eventually we do find this, that can you see your next step? So even when Jagan was sharing, how one feels overwhelmed when something is said, But one sees if one is courageous enough to give it the time of the light. He said 2 weeks it took him to, see, sit with it, and it came out. That's my next step. That's my next step. Yeah. Same, very similar, just supplementing that one day you'll see how hard it was and how brave you were. So, right now I might be sitting and being that critical person about myself. Okay, what's wrong with me? Why do I do this? Why do I get stuck? Why am I scared? And yet simultaneously, hopefully simultaneously or after a little while, we can see this too. Or yet this is a fact that we'll see how hard it was. We know how hard it is, and we know how brave we are. So again, an aspiration and a prayer that we know how brave we are, how courageous we are to keep going. So this I think I shared last time too. So what's the best thing you have learned about storms? Asked the boy. That they end, said the horse. And this is the same one. Similar, this storm is making me tired, said the boy. Storms get tired too, said the horse. So we have discussed this before, and beautiful reminders to help us in our everyday. Oh, Tadaji is there. Oh, probably she didn't realize the time. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it. And I honestly thought it would be a much shorter session today, but it's 10, so we spent a whole 90 minutes. So yeah, any last comments you can tell me, and then we'll just. Okay, so if nothing, we'll end. Just a prayer and aspiration, a wish that may we be able to come back to the simplicity that life really is. And somehow it appears to be more complicated, but it is I who has come from simplicity to complication. And although it might seem impossible or very hard, but I can walk back to simplicity. I think it's Einstein who says that if you can't explain something to a small child, that means you don't know it well. Because in simplicity, things show that how well you know it, but in our minds only, we ourselves are so confused and a lot of times not convinced. And that is why choices look difficult, things look hard. But once I reach back, once I touch simplicity, things are not really that complicated. So praying and aspiring that maybe all find the courage and the strength and the grace to go back and embrace simplicity fully, so that I can actually do what I'm here to do and not get lost in the dramas of the things which just distract me and mean nothing. So in all the storms of my life, may I remember the blue sky, which is always there. Praying this for myself and everyone, that we always, always, always see the blue sky, even though it's covered with dark clouds. Thank you for joining in.